Hello everyone, how are you doing? I hope you are doing very well. Energies are going still higher and higher, changing, evolving. Sometimes it feels like it's going worse in your reality when you get challenged, but it only means that it's still getting better and better. So I hope you're handling and balancing yourself well enough, and if you ever feel like you are failing when you don't meet certain expectations that you put on yourself, don't put yourself down because of it, because anything that you choose or anything how you are able to handle your situation is always good. Great is when you are able to always see and be conscious and understand more of what you are doing, regardless how maybe unconscious your choices seems to be. Just relax and let it be. And in this transmission I would like to focus on discussing open contact, mostly disclosure. And first I would like to tell in what way I am going to be talking about disclosure, because of course disclosure is happening, but there is a certain point in a disclosure that for example channel is always focusing about or on the specific definition of disclosure. So I'm going to be talking about this point in your history, I would say. Yeah, history is a good word for it, even though it's something that is going to happen for you from your perspective in the future. But still, you are writing already your history right now, and your probabilities are already what is going to be your history. So disclosure, I personally understand is something that is already happening and already undergoing, but there is a certain moment in all of this when there will be some shift, some important shift happening, when it will flip slowly flip into actually happening like open contact. So right now you are undergoing disclosure, and then after a certain point, like a finish of disclosure in a way, is when open contact will start to happen. Of course, open contact is something also that is kind of like happening and is part of all what is happening right now, but after that point is something that is going to be very grounded, and that will be like a first stage of actually first contact already being grounded into your reality. So disclosure, or that finish of disclosure, what I am talking about is when you will be finally told by some authority that we are here, not just discovering that there might be life outside of our Earth and all these kind of things, or just believing it, but it will be finally acknowledged as a truth that your government or certain parties in your system, like military and so on, have been in contact and are knowledgeable and will acknowledge that they know that intelligent beings, for example us or other extraterrestrials, are here and are in a contact, and that we are very real. One thing that I also wanted to mention is that already right now you are in a vibration of being able to meet us physically, but there are of course still certain kind of like a blockages that you don't allow us to be in your presence, either on a personal level or a collective level, but already vibration is ready to meet us physically. That's why I'm talking about this, and I can talk about this without actually harming any probabilities. I know that many of you are still not sure and are doubting, even though that you are or want to spread the message that it is going to happen and so on, but you still deep inside yourself are maybe not acknowledging that you are still not 100% sure, but I am sure. And to be honest, my channel also wanted to tell me that she also is not sure. She also has these doubts, and this is what I'm telling you, that these doubts that you have in yourself are something that is blocking it, but this final stage of disclosure will break them down. They will disappear, and that's why I'm so excited to tell you about it. This final stage of disclosure is very close already, and you already have had these waves of like preparing yourself for disclosure. Also this year, you know, this and also last year, these waves are those when certain information or footages or for example this funny event around area 51, all of these were part of these waves of disclosure, getting closer and closer, preparing your vibration for it. And there will be again still a few more of these waves, but the probability right now is that second wave from now will be the final wave of disclosure. Also, part of all these waves of disclosure and changing your vibration is a mission SpaceX, and so there will be also some shift energetically around all this happening when it will launch. It's because of ideas that are behind it, why it was created, and also the person that is behind this has quite a different way of thinking about the future as many of other people, and they are looking into future in very futuristic way, much closer to us. That's why this project holds very important energy for your future, and launching it will kind of like bring that future finally closer to you and actually being already manifesting it. It's already being manifested, but when the launch will be happening and will start is when it will be rooted kind of like into your vibration and into your collective consciousness as something that really was launched as something that will happen. So around that time, and this will also kind of like trigger another shift that will be also helping you to get into that final stage of disclosure. Barriers that you may have from not experiencing us physically right now. Channel wanted me to elaborate more on this in some more specific way, but it's difficult to describe it in other way that I already did, but I could elaborate a little bit more on that. So as I was saying, you are already capable of kind of like meeting us in a physical way and standing in front of us. That's what I meant. Although in a physical way, if we would meet very soon or right now in a physical way, that you would be standing in front of us, we could also, and we can do that, we can kind of like dim or hold back our vibration from you, that we would not overwhelm you by our excitement. So definitely this is nothing also nothing like that we would be suppressing ourselves. We just would choose to be very calm with our energy to meet you first time. It's the same like when you are meeting animal for the first time that you maybe don't know how we would react. Maybe when you are in a zoo and you can touch, for example, giraffe or something, you are very cautious in a way, and you try to be calm, not to create any vibrations or reaction that would interfere with the situation. So something like that. Not that we would see you or understand you as something like animals, or that it could be insult. Definitely not that way. I'm not meaning it that way or using this analogy. So this is what we would do anyway. If you would be, I don't know in what way, prepared for meeting with us. We would definitely, in the first few stages or meetings, be more calm with you, and you would be right now able to handle us. Although there still should be or would be shifts within your personal energy that would trigger you, the same as I was talking about in other audio about Kundalini. So this is another thing that would kind of like interfere with your own Kundalini energy system. So definitely there would be some stirring of your own energy that it would cause when we would be together, but it would be more on a level of seeing such a love from us, vibration of that love or that energy, and reflection, directly seeing how we see you, because that could be overwhelming for you as well, because from our kind of like a perspective or mood, what you would see in us, in our eyes, you would see amazing love that we have for you, for each of you, and how much we accept you. So that our final stage is also of your acceptance of yourself, your self-love, your confidence and everything. So definitely there would be, no matter what, still challenges of you accepting yourself until you would be completely without any reaction in our presence. But that's what I mean, that you are already, even if you would have some reactions, they wouldn't be as strong as if you would face us, for example, a few years ago, that you wouldn't be handling it. You would start to panic because of not being so, because first it would be much stronger, and secondly you wouldn't be so used to it. Right now you are used to so much pain, so much disbalance that you went through, and that is all what already prepared you for lighter versions of all of these that would be triggered in our presence. But of course there is still, like a need of certain work, personal work, because it doesn't mean that what I'm saying would count for everyone. There are still people who would be way too much triggered by us and that love that I shared. It's not that much of our energy, but love, and it could be harder for some people to accept, and they would be harder time of balancing it, So definitely do as much of inner work still as you can, and so you would be able to accept the love that you would see mirrored in those encounters with us, and you would be then able to also remember meetings with us. So this is what I'm saying, like you are already in a vibration that it's very close to being possible for many people to have even conscious meetings with us. But there is another level that may still seem for you like we are still too far from this, like manifesting or happening, that you would be able to meet us or remember or allow yourself to experience us physically in your reality. And it can seem like it's difficult to overcome, but from our perspective it's almost like just one switch in your mind, last switch in your mind or your collective consciousness. And as I said, final disclosure would help with this, but also a certain way of readiness to turn off that switch is necessary before it happens. So I cannot tell you how to work with that switch that much, because it's so kind of like, your mind is sometimes very irrational, or those beliefs are so stupid, if I can use that word, that it's illogical, and I cannot give you any logical kind of like guidance to switch them or identify them. You have to feel it through the feelings, and of course I could give you just ideas of what you are already doing, I believe, just imagine how a first contact would work. how you would react if you meet us. You can imagine specific beings. For example, you are meeting your hybrid children, or for example me, because you already have some depictions of me, and how you would react, for example, and so on. You can imagine it as well, and through these like reactions and doing this simulation over and over again, you could trigger parts of those parts of your mind that is related to that one final switch. But still, it will mostly happen when that final disclosure, or final part of disclosure will happen. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'm telling you, or I'm giving you this very high probability that it's going to happen. And as I was also telling you about the waves, that it would be most likely second wave from now of these kind of like events that you already were experiencing. And also in a time frame of probability is that is really most likely to happen until middle of your year of 2020. So I feel that it would happen, and if it won't happen until the next of the following year, 2020, then I would use this phrase like, if it won't happen in 2020, it will never happen. So in a way, it's telling you like it just has to happen. So, and that's my last thing that I wanted to say towards this topic and issue, and I hope this will help you to also get excited and on that wave of still continuing towards that energy.